Hello and welcome everyone to the Gold and Silver Club end of week commodities review for the 27th of February 2015, presented by myself, Phil Carr, at the Gold and Silver Club. So today we will be reviewing the latest developments in the commodities markets. We'll be analysing the week's performance. The live session will be including an overview of the commodities market. So we're looking at the top trades of the week. We'll cover live commentary and technical analysis. And of course, if you've got any questions at all, do just post those in the chat. Okay, so just before we get started, I'm Phil Carr, professional trader, trainer and international speaker, also the co-founder and director of the Gold and Silver Club. I specialize in teaching people how to make money from trading the most lucrative financial markets in the world. So gold, silver, oil, natural gas, the agricultural commodities. I have trained thousands of individuals to become independent traders and successfully manage their own investment portfolio. Also responsible for the research and the development of the Gold and Silver Club trademark strategies that have a proven track record of generating returns for traders, and a regular contributor to a number of financial publications. So I speak at numerous trading seminars, webinars and workshops. Joining me in running the Gold and Silver Club is Nick Kalsi, professional trader, investment analyst and speaker. Nick began his career within private wealth management in 2002 before making the transition into proprietary trading. So prior to co-founding the Gold and Silver Club, Nick spent several years coaching professional fund managers, traders internationally for some of the world's top tier hedge funds and investment banks, and is also responsible for the commodities research and investment advisory services relating to the Gold and Silver Club proprietary trading strategies. Regularly writes for a number of global business and financial publications, and we've appeared frequently on financial television. So that's just a bit of background on the Gold and Silver Club. We'll take a look at the price of gold right now. We're currently trading at $1,206 per ounce. So we'll look at the technicals very shortly. Before doing so, I'll review the top trades of the week with you. So it's been another lucrative trading week on the commodities markets. So first of all, we had a lovely breakout this week on palladium. Pennant formation, formed a nice consolidation. We got a nice breakout of that apex. So the risk on the trade was 120 points, $1,200 risk for each lot, traded for a profit of 280 points or $2,800 for just over a 2-to-1 on that breakout on palladium. So that was a lovely trade. Coffee has been working out very nicely indeed. There's sell short on coffee. The risk on the trade 80 points. We've got a running total of over 220 points at the moment as it continues to break down, over 2.5-to-1 currently on the trade. So $800 risk for $2,200 profit so far on the coffee trade, which we remain short right now. And also copper has had a nice breakout trade alongside palladium this week. So the risk on the trade was 50 points, so $500 risk on the trade for 115 points, $1,150 profit for a 2-to-1. So those are just some of the top trades that we've had over the course of this week. And what I'll do now, I'll just go into the technicals and we can have a look at how the markets are shaping up for just prior to the US session this afternoon. Okay, so first of all, we'll look at the gold market. So gold, ultimately, we saw previously last week, we had the Chinese Lunar New Year holiday where China do go on holiday for a week, or the bank holiday for a week, and ultimately we usually see weakness in the gold market over this period. So if I just show you, this is where we've started the Chinese New Year on going back to last Wednesday, and you can see here that we have had some weakness in the market. No support overnight from China, and they returned this week, and we can see from Wednesday onwards we did get a bit of a bullish breakout to the upside. However, gold at the moment is being contained by this resistance channel. You can see very clearly here, just more or less on a raw chart, you can see nice resistance channel, nice support channel. We're coming up to a pennant. So you've got a major, so you've got higher swing lows here in the market for gold going back to the last 3 months. But ultimately on the daily, we've got quite a strong downward resistance channel as well. So we need to get a resolution of this soon. If we were to break the lower end of this channel, this trend channel, we expect quite significant downside here on gold. It's one to look out for. We could really be due a big move to the downside. Now, typically as we go into March, seasonality-wise, it does tend to be a weaker time of year for the metals. And the fact that we're getting rejection each time gold is trying to make a run for a breakout you can see these big inverse hammers on the daily, which tell you when it's rallying, traders are very simply getting in at higher prices for a sell short. And all we need really to do now is break below yesterday's low here, break below Thursday's low, and start to escalate some downward pressure. And then we can start see a break of the trend channel, a break of the support, and then really this is where gold can ramp up to the downside. However, we've still got a pennant formation. It could still break out in either direction. So gold, if we need to get, if we're going to have a bullish outlook here, we need gold to break above this trend line. Okay, so if it's going to go long and we see a breakout, it needs to get above this trend line. You've got a consolidation here on gold throughout the last week or so. I could just draw a very simple consolidation box around that. So this is the key level of support resistance. We're just tending to ricochet between support and resistance right now. So a break above the 1225 level, then we should really start to pick up some momentum, and break below the weekly lows, we're likely to get some momentum to the downside. So gold, definitely one for you to watch and keep an eye on. This pennant formation, the overall trend channel, you can see since the 23rd of January, we've been in a downward trending channel for gold, which is typical over the month of February, but you've also got higher swing lows. So gold looking very interesting, and we're awaiting a nice breakout on that. In either direction we'll take. Silver, very similar situation as well. Now, we were anticipating from the lower end of this channel potential rotation back up to resistance. We got that perfectly yesterday. We got a rotation. So in order for silver to go lower, it needed to go higher. So it come down to the lower end of the channel. Again, same situation. Chinese New Year last week, we saw pressure on silver because there was no buying overnight, so the usual buying or support that you get from China and the Asia Pacific market wasn't there overnight. So during the US session, we didn't get any retracements really over the Asia Pacific session, but now that China are back online, we can see we got some bullish momentum over the last couple of days, but it's been held again by the upper end of the trend channel here on silver. You can see that very clearly. Nice inverse hammer right at the upper end of the channel. You can see even that's starting to break down. So potential trade opportunity here, at least to take it down to the lower end of the channel. I'll show you exactly what that would look like. Okay, so you can review this later today and see if this does play out. This would be a prediction here. If we were to just gain some momentum, we'll just very simply, we may even come down low. Probably won't do that in one day. Day-to-day volatility on silver is not enough to be able to produce. Unlikely, but ideal scenario comes all the way down to the next key support below. But let's say this plays out today. This is how your candle would potentially look by the close today if this picks up momentum. Okay, so a bearish candle and then back down to the lower end of the trend channel, possibly continuation on Monday as we continue to break down, and a retest of the lower end of the channel. And then if that was to play out, that then takes you back to this support zone, which is a take profit zone, and then you're likely to potentially get rotation back up again, and we may just continue to ricochet here. This is what we're doing on silver right now as we continue to grind lower, and typically March for silver does tend to be bearish. So that's what I'm potentially looking at for silver at the moment. There is a signal here for a potential sell, so silver could just continue within this overall downward trending channel. It will come into some support around the 1550 level, so do watch out for that. But that's what I see for today at the moment on silver. It looks like quite a good potential for a breakdown in price there. Now, if it does break above the trend channel, that will be a breakout to the upside and break above this consolidation, but it looks more bearish right now. Platinum as well, so very similar situation on platinum. So there's a bit of a theme going on here. What we saw yesterday on the US dollar index was a big surge to the upside. Nice breakout again. The US dollar index is so strong at the moment. It's every time it looks like maybe it's going to cross and start to break down, it doesn't. It gets supported. The US dollar, just going back since we ended QE in October, you can see just how strong the US dollar has been. It's just been immense. So I certainly wouldn't go short the US dollar at the moment. You can see the momentum is just big breakout to the upside yesterday. That's put pressure on the metals. If we start to get a continuation of this momentum to the upside as we go into next week, that will put more pressure on the metals, which move inversely to the US dollar because they're priced in the US dollars. Okay, so let's have a look now at platinum. So again, platinum was overdue a retracement to the upper end of its trend channel. It needed to do this to get lower again. Now we've got a big inverse hammer rejection candle from this trend channel. We're looking for platinum just to break down lower again. So platinum needs to just come down to the lower end of the channel here. Quite a few points on offer there potentially. Platinum's already broken down from yesterday's low. You can see about 300 points on offer at least to the lower end of the channel here on platinum. So if you do trade platinum and palladium, platinum certainly looking good for potential downward momentum. And also over the month of March, normally we do see a bearish momentum for platinum as well. Something to note. On the flip side, palladium has had a really nice breakout over the last 3 days. This pennant formation, which we've been looking at for quite some time now, it's been consolidating for about 2.5 weeks, finally broke out on Tuesday this week, and we've been triggered into this really nice breakout trade. You can see we've got a doji on the daily, which you're obviously going to get some profit taking. We've moved too far too quickly, so there will be some profit taking here. You could probably just draw in this resistance channel overhead, very clear actually. 1, 2, 3 bounces, so traders will take profit at that level. You can see this is breaking down. So what I would see here for palladium is a potential it's going to give back some of its gains today over the last few days. So it's a good take profit zone on a day trade, and also if you're looking for a re-entry on palladium, I would allow this to sell off and then find some support, bring up this trend channel, find some support around the 770 level in order to re-enter here, or 790 level, sorry, in order to re-enter for a potential long again, because the overall trend on the much larger time frames is very strong for palladium at the moment. So palladium just come up to resistance channel. Traders are taking profit at that level. Right, we'll look at copper next. So copper is in fact had a breakout this week as well. You can see again nice trend channel on copper. Good breakout. We've been consolidating for about 2 weeks on copper before we finally broke out. On the larger time frames, you can see it a little bit more clearly, this overall breakout pattern that we had after we bottomed at 2.44251. And we're building up a nice little base here on copper. Copper's got a breakout. It's got above some key levels, key moving averages, and it looks like at the moment possibly previous resistance is going to become support. You can see the resistance channel is being tested today as maybe a new support channel, so watch out for that. Copper I like for more upside as we go into March as well. So copper and palladium, we're more on the bullish side, whereas the precious metals look more bearish as we come into March here. So today is the last trading day of February. Do note, last trading day also of the month, usually you will see some profit taking. So if there's been, particularly on any markets which have had quite a significant move, so that would include copper in that bracket, palladium as well. Last day of the trading month, traders of course need to realize some profits for their portfolios, for their P&L for the month. So it's natural to see some profit taking today. So just watch out for that on any of your longer term trades, particularly any market that you've been in which you've got a good profit on is likely to get some profit taking today with the last day of the month, particularly as we come into the US session this afternoon. So just note that, because next week when we come back, Monday will be the 2nd of March, a new month. Okay, so let's move over to the energy. So the energy is looking really interesting. Now we have had some pullbacks, quite a lot of choppy momentum over the last few days. Ultimately, Brent and WTI crude oil are holding on to these trend channels here at the moment. So very simple in terms of support and resistance here within these much larger time frames. You can see right now that we'll start off just having a look at Brent crude oil. We built a base over February. So February we did bottom, which we had been anticipating. We've had a nice breakout over the month of February. It's just tended to ricochet between support and resistance within this overall trend channel. We're coming to a point here where there is a potential buy opportunity at the lower end of the channel. So we've got a nice support just yesterday, a bounce off that channel. And at these current levels right now, I would watch out for potential support and opportunities for a rally here. If that channel holds, if it breaks down, then we may see some sell short opportunities. With WTI as well, we saw you've got two parallel channels here you want to just have on your charts for trading WTI crude oil. Now we did get a retest of the lower end of the channel just yesterday. We can see we're just sitting right, we've got a nice little consolidation. We're sitting right at the lower end of this channel today. So I'd like to see whether this level will either get supported or whether we'll get a breakdown in price here for WTI crude oil. So if we break down, or we'll get supported at these levels. And also we'll just move on to have a look at the coffee market. And coffee, as I mentioned before, still going to sell short on coffee. It broke down really well from a consolidation. You can see coffee on the larger time frames here. We consolidated for about 4 weeks here before we finally broke major support and we've just been selling short ever since we broke that support zone. That still looks good for more downside at the moment. We continue to break below the previous day's low here, as you can see, as we continue to break down on coffee. So coffee certainly looks good for more downside here. So those are really the top markets which I'll be keeping an eye on for this afternoon as we go into next week. So again, just a quick recap for you. Gold, nice pennant formation, looking for a breakout, potential weakness down to the lower end of the channel here. Silver, very similar situation. That looks like it's going to pick up momentum to the downside now. You've got very clear rejection off the upper end of the channel, so silver looks really good for a sell. Platinum as well, similar situation, big rejection candle. The bigger the rejection candle, the better, because that just shows the market has got a lot of pressure right at the upper end of the trend channel here. So I like platinum for a sell as well. Palladium, we're bound to get some profit taking today. Copper, we're getting some profit taking as well. US dollar index ramped up quite heavily yesterday to the upside, putting pressure on the precious metals. Oil, I'll be watching these key support levels for a potential rally today on both WTI and Brent, and coffee looks good for more downside. Okay, so that is what we're looking at in terms of the commodity markets today and the technicals. So, of course, if you would like to find out more, especially regarding our live trading room, very simply, to join the Gold and Silver Club live online trading room throughout the week, our sessions, all you need to do to enroll in our live trading room program is join www.jointhegoldandsilverclub.com. Very simply from there, you complete an enrollment form and we'll get in touch with you ASAP. You can find out how to trade major news announcements such as the FOMC announcements, non-farm payroll announcements, find out more about our live trading room program. I will post that in the chat for you all just to make it very easy for you if you would like to just take a look at that. And let me just also just show you how that will look once you get onto the page there. So it's just jointhegoldandsilverclub.com. Okay, and from there you'll just be taken to an enrollment form and you can find out how to join us for our live trading rooms throughout the week. Okay, good. Right, so I don't think there are any more questions at the moment. I wish you all good trading. Have a great weekend, guys. There's quite a few trading opportunities at the moment, and from those of you who'd like to find out more about our live trading room program, I look forward to hear from you. Okay, so thanks again, guys, and we'll definitely see you on the next one. Okay, cheers, guys.